Welcome to the World Channel, NVV. Liverpool, Takumi Minamino of Red Bull Salzburg in Jurgen Klopp's sights. Liverpool are planning to make a move for Red Bull Salzburg winger Takumi Minamino in January. Minamino, who is believed to have a release clause of £7.25 million, played in both his side's Champions League group games against the Reds this season. The Japan international has scored 9 goals in 22 appearances for Salzburg this season and provided 11 assists. Red Bull Salzburg sporting director Christoph Freund confirmed talks between the two clubs are taking place. One of Minamino's 2 Champions League goals this season came in Salzburg's 4-3 group stage defeat by Jurgen Klopp's side at Anfield in October. In the return on Tuesday, the Austrian side lost 2-0, but Minamino was a constant threat in the first half, and Liverpool are keen to do a deal as they believe he is worth more than treble his release clause. Liverpool have stepped up their pursuit of the 24-year-old because interest in the Japan forward is increasing. Despite playing against Liverpool in this season's Champions League, the forward would be eligible to play for the holders in the competition if he does move following a rule change by UEFA last year. Mason Greenwood scored twice as Manchester United got 4 in 11 minutes to defeat AZ Alkmaar and secure a seeding for the Europa League knockout phase. After a mundane first half, the game burst into life in the 53rd minute when Ashley Young drove home Juan Mata's cross for his first goal since February. Greenwood stole the headlines though, firing home from the edge of the box before producing a fine left-footed finish to end the scoring frenzy. It was the first time the 18-year-old had scored 2 in a first-team game and took his overall tally for the season to 6. He is now United's leading scorer in Europe this season, and only Marcus Rashford has scored more in all competitions. In between the strikers' double, Mata converted a penalty for the Spain midfielder's first goal of the season. The victory was United's biggest in Europe since 2016 when they beat another Dutch side, Feyenoord, by the same score, and means they will avoid Benfica, Ajax and Inter Milan in Monday's last 32 draw. All change. The victory was United's 3rd in a row in all competitions, coming after impressive triumphs against Tottenham and Manchester City. It is only the 3rd time United have done that since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer began his spell as United manager with 8 successive wins after he replaced Jose Mourinho on the 19th of December last year. The opening period lacked a competitive edge, but Solskjaer will be delighted at the way it turned out, particularly as, from the team that started against Manchester City, only Harry Maguire and Martial kept their places. This is crucial as, with a Carabao Cup quarter-final against Colchester in which they are overwhelming favourites, Solskjaer's side was starting what could turn out to be 19 games in 77 days, which will end with the second leg of their Europa League last 32 tie. The volume of fixtures is one of the reasons why it is still felt United need to make signings when the transfer window opens next month. Greenwood shines, Chong does not. When they entertain Everton on Sunday, United will reach an astonishing 4,000 consecutive games where a player they have been responsible for developing has been part of their matchday squad. It is a staggering statistic, one that dates back to October 1937 and a game against Fulham at Craven Cottage. 2 of their modern-day products are Tahith Chong and Greenwood, who shared the memorable experience of being introduced as late substitutes in the memorable Champions League victory at Paris Saint-Germain in March. Greenwood has bounded along since then. Against Alkmaar he made his 7th start in 18 overall appearances that have now yielded 6 goals. He is an automatic member of Solskjaer's matchday squad and in October signed a new contract that will keep him at Old Trafford until 2023. By contrast, Chong has stalled. A Netherlands under-21 player, he came on as a substitute here, his 6th appearance of the season, and only his 2nd since the 6th of October. The midfielder's contract runs out at the end of the season and an extension offer remains unsigned amid rumours of excessive demands that United officials do not feel justify his performances. At 20, Chong is nearly 2 years older than Greenwood, and the suspicion is growing that an impactful United career might prove beyond him. He tried hard enough on Thursday, but the quality showed by Greenwood was missing. Man of the match, Mason Greenwood, Manchester United. Mason Greenwood was one of 7 academy graduates to finish the game for Manchester United. Greenwood is different class as a finisher, what they said. Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer told BT Sport. I told him to be more us at half-time, be more Man United. I know it's difficult for players when you change, but in the second half we just found a rhythm, made more passes forward, more runs forward, were pressing and got our goals. On Mason Greenwood. He's different class as a finisher. If there's anything around the box you expect him to get a shot off and on target. He's good at creating space for himself and right foot, left foot it doesn't matter. I'm very pleased with his performance. He's a different type to Wayne Rooney, and the good thing about Mason is he is just going to look forward to Sunday. It's natural for him to score goals, it doesn't matter what level it is. Dutch delight for United, the stats. Manchester United have won 7 of their 9 previous home games against Dutch sides in all competitions, keeping clean sheets in the last 3. Juan Mata has been directly involved in 3 goals, 1 goal, 2 assists, in a single European match for the first time since March 2013, scoring once and assisting twice for Chelsea against Steaua Bucharest. Ashley Young has scored his first European goal for Manchester United since February 2012 when netting against Ajax. Only Marcus Rashford, 13, has scored more goals than Mason Greenwood, 6, in all competitions for Manchester United this season. Greenwood is the youngest player to score a double in major European competition for Manchester United, aged 18 years and 72 days. Wolves were denied top spot in their Europa League group, despite substitute Diogo Jota's 11-minute hat-trick inspiring victory over Besiktas. After a drab first half, Jota came on as a 56th-minute substitute and headed in 72 seconds later to lift Molineux. He added a second 6 minutes later, reacting sharply to turn in when Leander Dendonker's shot hit the post before the Belgian headed in a third. Jota fired in a fourth, but Braga won 4-2 at Slovan Bratislava to top Group K. The Portuguese side, who would not have topped the group if they failed to win after Wolves took control against Besiktas, were trailing 2-1 after 70 minutes before turning the match back in their favour. Wolves were already assured of progressing whatever happened in the final round of group matches and go into Monday's draw for the knockout stage as one of the 12 runners-up. Follow the post-match reaction from tonight's Europa League action. Easy as 1, 2, 3 for Jota. Combining their first European campaign in almost 40 years with the rigours of the Premier League season is a task which Wolves have juggled to good effect so far. With the Molineux men already though, and Besiktas' visit being their 30th game of the season, manager Nuno Espirito Santo used the opportunity, as expected, to shuffle his pack and give opportunities to some of his fringe players. The Portuguese boss makes 7 changes from Sunday's 2-2 draw at Brighton, with only skipper Conor Cody and midfield trio Ruben Neves, João Moutinho and Dendoncker keeping their places. Yet the incoming players failed to deliver in a drab first half where Wolves played with little urgency. Jota's introduction changed both mood and momentum in spectacular fashion. The Portuguese forward picked up where he left off at Brighton, having scored both of Wolves' goals, with another masterclass in clinical opportunism. An intelligent run towards the far post allowed him to convert Pedro Neto's cutback with his first touch, instinctively reacting quickest to prod in the second as the Besiktas backline dithered. And Jota completed a memorable hat-trick, the fastest scored in the Europa League since September 2014, when he again perfectly timed a run to the far post to meet Oscar Bour's precise cross between Besiktas' keeper Utku Uvakaran and his static defence. I think everyone that is on the bench wants to come and make an impact. Fortunately for me, that impact was very good, he said. Wolves boss Nuno has challenged Jota to keep up his current hot streak. He must do what he is doing every day, be really competitive, train well and prepare himself, the Portuguese boss said. Be like he is on the pitch, always fighting, always looking for space, always running. Keep on keeping going. Who could Wolves play in the last 32? Although Wolves will have been hoping to finish top of the group, and therefore avoiding some of the bigger names in the last 32, they could not have asked much more from their debut season in Europe's secondary club competition. In a continental campaign which started back in July and has now spanned 12 games, they have eased into the knockout phase with little cause for concern. Now they await the identity of their next opponents when the draw is made in Nyon, Switzerland on Monday, 12 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. Finishing runners-up behind Braga means they will face a group winner or one of the 4 best-ranked sides which have dropped down from the Champions League. The likes of last year's Champions League semi-finalists Ajax, Italian giants Inter Milan or Spanish side Sevilla are potential opponents, while a tie against Scottish champions Celtic is also a possibility. However, Wolves cannot face Manchester United or Arsenal, winners of their respective groups, because teams from the same nation are kept apart at this stage of the tournament. The first leg of the last 32 is scheduled for Thursday the 20th of February, with the second legs taking place a week later. It was a good game, we played well, we scored goals, defended well and were organised. It was a well-played game, Nuno added. It was a tough competition and we've progressively got better. We fight game by game and it's taken us to the knockout stage. We are delighted to be there, but now we put it aside and wait for the draw.